So today we're doing a product walkthrough, a very quick one on the Rancilio Silvia, as you can see, and this is actually the latest version of the Rancilio Silvia. The price is about to go up to $5.99, which has me scared a bit because it just went up to $5.45 only about 6 months ago. And as always, Bruce is up here watching over us, making sure that evil Aspressoo is fended away from the machine. And I'm going to run you through just very briefly how to do something called temperature surfing. And I think showing it visually via video is a lot better than typing it out. So here's what we do. Very first thing, we always preheat our cups. No matter how long they're sitting on top of the machine, always put a little bit of boiling water in them to preheat them up. And the other thing too, so while we let these preheat, the other thing too is the Silvia has a very shallow drip tray. This is how much water I have in here just after my last shot with the cleaning I do. So what I typically do with the Silvia is I have a shallow plastic container, and I usually use that for doing all the things I do for temperature surfing, for cleaning the group, everything else. So what I want to do right now is, you see this indicator light, it's off. So that means that the boiler currently is not heating up. I want that light to come on, because I want the boiler to get up to the top of its temperature, and that's where I start my temperature surf. But there's a little bit of trick to it too. I could basically run the pump switch, run water through this till this comes on, but if I do that, too much cold water is introduced into the boiler and it'll just take longer for it to heat back up. So what I do is I run it just for a couple of seconds. Wait a couple of seconds to see if the thermostat registers a lower temperature. If it doesn't, run it again for a couple of seconds, like that. Wait for the light. If the light doesn't come on, run it again for just a couple of seconds to turn it off. And oh, there we go. The light's on. And now the boiler is cycling back up to its top end optimal temperature. So at this point we're ready to build our shot. So I'll take the portafilter out. And you can see the portafilter is obviously wet. It's also clean because the last time I brewed a shot, I cleaned the group head. You should always clean after every shot. So here I'm doing a quick dry wipe on the portafilter, and now we're going over to our grinder, and the grinder we're using today is the Anfim Best grinder. I love this grinder. It's like roughly the same price as the Rocky. In fact, some places may even have it for less than the Rocky. It is a step grinder, but it does have more steps than the Rocky, and I think the thing I like the most about this is that the lever action is great and it doses nice and even into the basket, and you're going to see that. I can't really talk while I'm grinding, but take a look. And see, without even touching it, it's a nice even dose. All I have to do on my tamper is just do a little evening and then press down and do my normal tamping. And by the way, if you look back at the machine now, you can see that that light is out, meaning that the boiler is cycled. I'm done my grind, and now I'm going to do the temperature surf part. And what is the temperature surf part? Basically, you're going to run the pump. Because it just came off a cycle, the water is actually slightly higher than boiling. So in the boiler, it's water because it's under pressure. But once it leaves the boiler and comes through the group head, when it hits normal atmospheric pressure, the water flashes to steam. You can actually hear and see it. It's a little bit subtle, but hopefully we'll pick it up with the video. See that sound? That was it. As soon as that sound stops, it's below boiling, and right now, probably in the group head, it's going to be about 202, 203, and because I'm using Black Cat, that's the ideal starting temperature I want. Lock in the portafilter, go almost to this dot, dump off your water, and brew your shot. And there we go. Oh man, look at that dark hazelnut. Looks like the beginning of a good shot. One thing I've noticed with the Silvia is that it does tend to pick up speed because this does not have a flow restrictor, so as the puck becomes more saturated and kind of gives up more of its goodness, you may notice the flow starts to like curl a bit and stuff. It's typical with this machine. But here, I mean, take a look at that. The It is a little bit blonde for some people. They may think, oh my god, what is he doing there? But actually, no, there's really good extraction there. You can actually see some tiger modeling. The color is nice and even. The crema is dissipating a bit because the kiddo is fairly fresh, but oh man, that is a nice shot of kiddo. And now, before we stop, we're going to run through once more, and I'm going to show you how we clean after a shot. Right now our shot's done. You can see that the boiler indicator is back on. That's because it went through down to its low end of its dead band, which is at about 94, 93 Celsius, or about 192, I think, Fahrenheit, 194 Fahrenheit. So we remove our portafilter. As you can see, pretty spent puck, very deep. I don't know if you can pick that up in the video. Very deep indentation from the screen. And if you look up at the group head, you can actually see it. There's like brown coffee and crud all over there. So we're going to get rid of that real quick. And the way we do that, again, is by using my plastic container. We knock off our puck, put our plastic container here, put our portafilter, just do a little rinse, do what I call the portafilter wiggle, like that, to sort of clean off the portafilter. And then the last tool I like to use, they're about $10, $12. It's called a Palo cleaner for espresso machines. It does a lot more. It's got a little stick here for cleaning out the steam one's tip. But what I use it for is just to give group head a nice quick scrub and make sure I get the gasket too. It only takes a couple of seconds. We dump off our spent water. One last rinse to our group head. Lock it in. And the machine is clean. Then we take our cloth, give a quick clean to the area, and the Silvia is ready for the next go. And that, my friends, is a Rancilio Silvia, and I think Bruce looks pretty happy.